Hello viewers, you're watching Afghanistan Report and I'm your host Swati Kundra. The main stories are: suicide bombers attack Indian consulate in Jalalabad. New coalition commander inherits testing Afghanistan conflict. And former Afghan president seeks India's help for stability in South Asia. Indian consulate in Afghanistan has once again been targeted by militants. In an hours-long gun battle outside the consulate in Jalalabad, Afghan forces killed 4 suicide bombers. We have a report.
Indian consulate in Jalalabad near Afghanistan's border with Pakistan was targeted by suicide bombers. 4 suicide bombers and 2 civilians were killed and 20 others were wounded in the attack. The assault on March 2nd began when a vehicle loaded with explosives blew up near the mission's front gates. 4 attackers later seized a nearby guest house and opened fire on Afghan security forces who had converged on the compound. All the Indian mission staff was safe.
That this attack has been orchestrated by the Pakistani army and the ISI. If you recall, on 2nd of January, Pathankot was attacked, and on the 1st of January, our High Commission in Jalalabad was similarly targeted. After an investigation lasting 2 weeks, this Chief Security Officer of Afghanistan had categorically stated that every single indication points to the role of the Pakistan Army and the ISI.
In nearly 3 years, Indian consulate in Jalalabad has been hit twice by militants. At least 10 people were killed in an attack in August 2013. In May 2014, India's diplomatic mission in Herat was also attacked and gunmen struck its consulate in Mazar-e-Sharif in January. India and Afghan officials have blamed Pakistan-based militants for these attacks, which have hampered efforts to improve ties between New Delhi and Islamabad.
In another incident of violence, a Taliban suicide bomber blows himself up near the Afghan Defense Ministry in Kabul, causing heavy casualties. We have a report.
On February 27, a Taliban suicide bomber blew himself up near the Afghan Defense Ministry in Kabul. The attack occurred as Defense Ministry workers were leaving their offices.
حدود 9 نفر از هموطنان ما شهید شده و در حدود 13 نفر مجروح شده که در بین شهدا و مجروحین تعداد 3 الی 5 نفر مجروحین و شهید طبقه اوناس هم.
The Taliban claimed responsibility for the attack. Witnesses at the scene said they had seen a number of bodies on the ground.
ما این میسن پول بودیم میخواستیم که تهش مسلم پول یک دفعه صداش ما خود ایستیم پس داریم وقتی که رفتیم اینجا راه باز شد مردم دوید هجوم رفتیم اونجا قریب یگان سید یگان 30 از خدا کردیم از 30 نفرم زیاد هم مرد افتاده.
In a statement issued after the attack, President Ashraf Ghani said his government would not conduct peace talks with groups that kill innocent people and said security forces would step up the fight against terrorism.
US Army General John Campbell has stepped down as commander of the NATO-led coalition in Afghanistan and hands over the charge to General John Nicholson. We have a report.
After serving 18 months in war-torn Afghanistan, US Army General John Campbell stepped down as commander of the NATO-led coalition. The incoming commander, General John Nicholson, will inherit a conflict that is testing Afghan security forces and the roughly 13,000 international troops who remain, with insurgents contesting or controlling as much as a third of Afghanistan.
Today is not about change, but about continuity. The continuity and the continuation of our commitment to Afghanistan. We ask ourselves every day, what more can we do for Afghanistan? And what more can we help them to do for themselves? We will continue both our counterterrorism mission and our train, advise, and assist mission to build a sustainable Afghan security force that can stand on its own and secure Afghanistan from violent extremism and terrorism.
Nicholson brings long experience in Afghanistan, having already spent 3.5 years deployed to some of the most contested areas. In his first visit outside of Kabul, Since his arrival to assume his new command, Nicholson said he had traveled to Helmand province to try reassure Afghan leaders there who have faced some of the most serious fighting.
We Americans will never forget that when my nation was attacked on 9/11, you came to our assistance, and you have been beside us in our nation's longest war.
Afghan and coalition leaders praised Campbell, a 41-year-old veteran of the US military, but the outgoing commander's tenure was not without controversy. Besides the deteriorating security situation, he faced sharp criticism over an American airstrike on a Doctors Without Borders hospital in Kunduz in October that killed at least 42 medical staffs, patients, and caretakers.
India has been playing a role of soft power in war-torn Afghanistan. However, former Afghan President Hamid Karzai calls upon India to work with Kabul to ensure stability in South Asian region. We have a report.
Former Afghan President Hamid Karzai addressed students at the premier Indian Institute of Technology in Kanpur city of India's northern Uttar Pradesh state. He said that both India and Afghanistan were victims of terrorism and should work together to fight this menace.
Our threats are the same, our interests are the same. Therefore, our future is dependent on the two of us working together. For a better India, for a better Afghanistan, and for a better region, that India traditionally is not a donor country. It has a great deal to do within India to uplift the masses of India to better economic living, to better standards. In spite of that, India has been financially one of the greatest contributors to Afghanistan.
Pakistan, bordered by India to the east and Afghanistan to the west, has often been accused of supporting militancy in the two countries. Afghanistan has long harbored deep suspicion of Pakistan, accusing it of sponsoring the Taliban insurgency in what Ghani has referred to as a 14-year-long undeclared war between the two countries. India accuses Pakistan of training and arming militants and infiltrating them across the de facto border called the Line of Control, dividing Kashmir.
Yes, Afghanistan has made immense progress in the past 14 years, as Professor Mara said. Yes, we are a lot better country, a lot connected a country. We have thousands and thousands of educated, we have better roads, we have all of that. But we also suffer, we continue to suffer at the hands of extremism. As you do from time to time in India. So I hope, as we move forward, that we will find solutions to this affliction, that we will get past a civilized life among nations in this region, that we will not need these violent tools. Some of us will not need these violent tools to promote policies or to reach objectives, that we will think of better ways, of Gandhian ways, of peaceful ways, of coexistence, of civilized living together.
India and Afghanistan share strong bilateral ties. India has played a significant role in the reconstruction of Afghanistan in the past 1 decade. According to the Indian Foreign Ministry, India's extensive developmental assistance program for Afghanistan now stands at around $2 billion.
With that, we come to the end of this week's episode of Afghanistan Report. I'm Swati Kundra taking your leave. We'll be back next week with more news and views from Afghanistan. Goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.